Imagine booking your dream trip. Tickets ready, bags packed, excitement sky high, only to find out your Filipino passport isn't enough anymore. Not because you did anything wrong, but because the world has changed. In 2025, a growing number of countries are tightening their borders, imposing new travel bans, suspensions, and harsh visa rules. And for millions of Filipinos, OFWs, tourists, retirees, and families, these changes have turned simple travel into a maze of restrictions. War zones, anti-West sentiments, collapsed governments, embassy shutdowns, and even sudden political tensions. All of these have created places where Filipinos are not welcome, not safe, or simply not allowed to enter at all. Today we uncover 10 countries where Filipinos face some of the strictest restrictions, bans, or travel dangers in 2025. Some will surprise you, some will shock you, and one country on this list is a place many Filipinos once dreamed of visiting. This is Discovering the Earth. And here are 10 countries where Filipinos aren't allowed, or are heavily restricted, in 2025. Country number 1, Israel. Israel, once a dream destination for pilgrims and history lovers, has become one of the most restricted countries for Filipinos in 2025. Not because of politics, but because of war. After the 2023 to 2024 Israel-Hamas conflict escalated, large parts of the country, including Jerusalem, Gaza border towns, and even certain Tel Aviv districts, were declared danger zones by the Philippine government. By 2025, the situation remains volatile. Missile alerts, drone attacks, and clashes continue in several regions. Because of this, the Philippines imposed a strong travel suspension, essentially blocking Filipinos from traveling to Israel unless for emergency reasons. For OFWs, the story is even more emotional. Tens of thousands of caregivers and workers had to be rescued in evacuation missions, leading to a temporary pause on deployments. While Israel still technically allows Filipinos entry, the real restriction comes from Manila, with Level 4 alerts warning Filipinos not to travel due to extreme danger. Until the conflict stabilizes, Israel remains one of the most restricted destinations for Filipinos in 2025. Country number 2, Russia. Russia's massive landmass and historic cities could have been a unique travel experience. But in 2025, the country is one of the hardest places for Filipinos to enter. After the Ukraine war dragged into its third year, Russia tightened its border security, restricted visas for Western allies, and increased background checks on foreign nationals. Filipinos, because of the Philippines' close ties with the U.S., are often subject to extra scrutiny. Travelers report visa delays of 2 to 6 months, applications denied without explanation, requests for financial, political, and employment documents, border interrogations, restrictions in security zones including airports and ports. And with the US and Europe imposing sanctions, Russia now views tourists from US-friendly countries as potential security risks. Additionally, the Philippine government issued a caution advisory due to political tensions and heightened military activity. Some airlines have also stopped direct service in and out of Russia, making travel extremely complicated. Even if you secure a visa, Filipinos in Russia face limited consular help. The Philippine embassy's operations are reduced and many diplomatic channels are strained. Russia isn't banning Filipinos outright, but the country has become so restricted, so unpredictable, that entry is nearly impossible in 2025. Country number 3, Ukraine. Ukraine was once a beautiful, budget-friendly destination. Today, it's a battlefield. The ongoing Russia-Ukraine war has turned Ukraine into a no-go zone, and Filipinos are officially banned from traveling there due to active shelling, drone attacks, destroyed infrastructure, landmines in major cities, zero commercial flights. The Philippine government maintains a Level 4 do not travel warning. This is the highest travel alert possible, and it applies to the entire country. Even humanitarian organizations avoid many regions because roads, bridges, airports, and ports remain heavily damaged. For Filipinos, visiting Ukraine is nearly impossible. No embassies, no evacuation routes, and no safe zones guaranteed by the international community. until peace talks succeed, which, as of 2025, seems distant. Ukraine stays one of the most restricted countries in the world, especially for Filipinos. Country number 4, Sudan. Sudan is facing one of the deadliest civil wars in modern history. Two rival military factions continue to fight over the capital Khartoum, leaving thousands dead and millions displaced. The country's government has effectively collapsed. For Filipinos, the restrictions are extreme. No Philippine embassy operating inside Sudan, total deployment ban for OFWs, near-zero visa approvals, airports frequently shut down due to fighting, high kidnapping risk for foreigners. The Philippine government has evacuated OFWs multiple times, declaring Sudan unsafe for any form of travel. Even humanitarian missions struggle to enter Sudan, with UN agencies repeatedly suspended due to the violence. Until a stable government returns, Sudan is one of the strictest no-go countries for Filipinos in 2025. Country number 5, South Sudan. One of the youngest nations in the world, is also one of the most dangerous to visit. South Sudan suffers from militia attacks, ethnic violence, food shortages, collapsed hospitals, lawless border regions. Filipino travelers face almost guaranteed danger. The Philippine government warns of armed robberies, targeted kidnapping of foreigners, zero evacuation routes, no functioning embassy, unpredictable clashes along major highways. South Sudan does technically issue visas, but the process is long, expensive, and rarely approved. Even if approved, entering the country without military escort is nearly impossible. This makes South Sudan one of the most restricted and inaccessible destinations for Filipinos in 2025. Country number 6, Somalia. Somalia remains one of the most perilous destinations on the planet, and for Filipinos, it is effectively impossible to enter due to the extreme instability gripping the country. Despite technically issuing tourist visas, Somalia offers no real safety for visitors, with daily life overshadowed by Al-Shabaab terrorism, market bombings, targeted assassinations, and routine car explosions in the capital Mogadishu. The central government controls only limited pockets of territory, while much of the nation is dominated by militias, clan factions, and insurgent groups. Along Somalia's coastline, piracy remains a major threat, with international agencies warning ships and travelers to avoid the region entirely. For Filipinos, the risks multiply further because there is no Philippine embassy inside the country, meaning travelers have zero consular support in emergencies, whether it's kidnapping, injury, or sudden evacuation. Most commercial airlines do not even operate regular flights to Somalia because the airspace is considered unsafe, and foreigners are often singled out by armed groups for ransom or propaganda. The Philippines has therefore classified Somalia as a full travel ban zone, advising citizens to avoid all forms of travel regardless of purpose. In 2025, even mentioning Somalia as a possible destination is enough for authorities to strongly discourage the trip. With widespread violence, political collapse, and no functioning support systems, Somalia stands out as one of the most forbidden and life-threatening places for Filipino travelers anywhere in the world. Country number 7, Eritrea. Eritrea is one of the world's most secretive nations, often compared to Africa's North Korea for its tight government control, strict military regime, and lack of basic freedoms. For Filipino travelers, entering Eritrea is a daunting challenge because the country operates one of the harshest visa systems on Earth. Applications are frequently denied without explanation, and even those that succeed require a local sponsor, government-approved itinerary, and multiple layers of security checks. But the difficulty does not end once the visa is issued. Eritrea imposes a rigid set of internal restrictions that shape the entire travel experience. Visitors cannot move freely around the country. Instead, they must request special permits for every city they plan to visit. And in many cases, they are required to travel with government-assigned guides who monitor their activities. Photography is heavily regulated, with strict punishment for capturing buildings or infrastructure without permission, and travelers often report having their phones or laptops inspected or confiscated. For Filipinos, the The lack of a Philippine embassy inside Eritrea adds another layer of risk, as assistance during emergencies is nearly impossible. These intense controls, combined with the country's limited communication access and highly militarized environment, make Eritrea one of the most restrictive destinations for Filipino nationals in 2025. An isolated state where tourism is not just difficult, but deeply controlled by the government's desire to keep the outside world at arm's length. Country number 8, Turkmenistan. Turkmenistan is widely recognized as one of the most closed-off countries in the world despite being stable and peaceful. And for Filipinos, entering this mysterious Central Asian nation is exceptionally difficult. Known for its authoritarian government and extensive monitoring system, Turkmenistan maintains one of the strictest tourism policies globally, with a visa rejection rate estimated between 80 and 90%. Even when visas are approved, travelers must rely on local government-approved handlers who accompany them throughout their stay, restricting free movement outside the capital city of Ashgabat. For Filipinos, the difficulty is even higher because the government imposes multiple stages of background screening, embassy interviews, and political verification checks that often discourage applicants altogether. Turkmenistan has almost zero tolerance for vloggers, journalists, or anyone who appears to be documenting local life, and carrying professional equipment can lead to immediate questioning or denial at the border. There are no open avenues for OFWs, as work visas for foreign laborers are extremely rare, and Filipino tourists remain uncommon due to the country's restrictive environment. Many travelers report that even an approved visa can be revoked upon arrival for vague security reasons, leaving visitors stranded without explanation. With its heavy surveillance, unpredictable immigration decisions, and rigid travel system, Turkmenistan stands out in 2025 as one of the most inaccessible nations for Filipinos, a place where tourism exists only on paper, tightly controlled by a government determined to regulate every aspect of a visitor's experience. Country number 9, Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea, located just a short distance above Australia, was once a promising destination for Filipino workers and tourists. But the situation has changed significantly by 2025. Following multiple violent incidents involving foreign workers, some including robberies, armed assaults, and hostage-taking, the government of Papua New Guinea implemented a tougher immigration framework intended to control the movement of foreign labor. These policies include stricter background screening, more demanding documentation for work applicants, difficult visa renewals, and higher processing fees that disadvantage low-income travelers. Filipinos working in remote provinces have also reported limited police response during emergencies, weak medical infrastructure, and long delays when seeking legal assistance. As a result, the Philippine government issued a partial advisory urging its citizens to exercise extreme caution when considering travel to Papua New Guinea, particularly for employment purposes. Tourists face additional challenges due to frequent tribal conflicts in rural areas, expensive domestic flights that make travel around the country costly, and inconsistent security conditions even within major cities like Port Moresby. Though Papua New Guinea is not officially closed to Filipinos, the combination of rising crime, restricted movement, and new immigration barriers makes it one of the most challenging and high-risk destinations for Filipino travelers in 2025, an unpredictable environment where safety can change rapidly depending on region and circumstance. Country number 10, Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea may be small in size, but its immigration system is among the most complicated in Africa, making it a particularly difficult destination for Filipino travelers. The country's visa requirements are unusually strict, demanding invitation letters, extra financial proof, and extensive documentation that often leads to long waiting times and high rejection rates. Several Filipinos who managed to apply have reported being questioned aggressively during application reviews, while others describe cases of unexplained delays and sudden denials. Even upon arrival, immigration officers are known to request additional fees or informal payments, creating a higher level of risk and uncertainty. These reports, combined with Equatorial Guinea's relatively weak legal protections for foreigners, prompted Philippine authorities to advise citizens to avoid non-essential travel. The challenges go beyond paperwork. Local healthcare services are limited, police checkpoints are frequent, and foreign nationals sometimes face scams or harassment, particularly in remote areas. While the country is not in conflict and does not impose an official ban on Filipino travelers, the mix of corruption, bureaucratic hurdles, poor infrastructure, and unpredictable immigration behavior effectively creates a hidden barrier that makes travel extremely burdensome. For Filipinos seeking a safe and stable destination, Equatorial Guinea presents too many risks and too few guarantees, making it one of the least advisable places to visit in 2025. Travel is a dream for many Filipinos, a chance to explore the world, reunite with family, or begin a new life abroad. But as we've seen today, the world isn't equal. Some borders are open, others are guarded, dangerous, or completely shut. From war zones like Ukraine and Sudan, to tightly controlled states like Eritrea and Turkmenistan, to politically tense nations like Russia and Israel, Filipinos face challenges that go far beyond visas. And the message here isn't fear, it's awareness. Because knowing where not to go is just as important as knowing the world's best destinations. In the end, travel is freedom, but it must be safe, informed, and responsible. So wherever you dream of going next, take time to understand the risks, check the alerts, and choose destinations that welcome you with open arms. If you learned something new today, share this video with a friend. You might help someone avoid a dangerous situation. This is Discovering the Earth, bringing you stories that matter to Filipinos around the world. Stay safe, travel smart, and I'll see you in our next adventure.